Hello and welcome to Supposedly Fun. My name is Greg.
I'm Joel.
And y'all know Teddy. We are here today to talk about some most anticipated books of 2025. Very exciting because new year, new books.
Exactly.
That's right. And we will have affiliate links to all of the books that we're going to talk about in the description box down below. If you would like more information about the books, you can go there. We have like 19 books to cover, so I'm going to try to keep it very brief. If you want more information about the books, you can go to that link. And I know are you laughing because I said I was going to try to keep it brief? I know. I am really bad at keeping it brief. So I'm going to try because we have a lot to get through. And you can go to those links. If we inspire you to think about purchasing a book or pre-ordering a book, you can also use those links. The affiliate link will give us just a tiny little bit of a kickback from bookshop.org, which supports independent bookstores. And Joel is wearing his t-shirt, which is his motto for 2025.
Be kind.
Be kind. It's a good goal. You can't really see it because Teddy is in the way, but I'm wearing a shirt that says support your local libraries, because if you don't use those links down below, you can support your local independent bookstore. Pre-ordering is really important. It's good for the author, it's good for the publisher, it's good for the bookstore. It just lets everybody know how many copies of a book should exist. And with supply chain problems recently, it is very important because if you have to reprint books to restock, it takes a lot of time. So it's a very important thing to do. We already have a couple of books pre-ordered for this year.
I'm excited about it.
And if you don't have the money or the resources or the desire to spend money on these books, support your local libraries. They are vital parts of your community. So let's dive in, shall we?
Let's do it.
We're going to go chronological order. We're going to go with a book that has already been published, a book that is publishing the week that we do release this video, and then we're going to go to the ones that are furthest out, which takes us to about the middle of the year.
Right.
The first one, something I added to the list. It's Mothers and Sons by Adam Hazlitt. This is already published. It's coming. It was released on January 7th. Here's a quick reading of a blurb from it. Peter is an overburdened asylum lawyer swimming against cold bureaucratic tides and trying to fight the good fight in a pre-Trump administration, New York. His estranged mother, Anne, a priest, left the family years ago for a woman in her congregation and now runs a retreat upstate. And although mother and son are propelled by similar idealism, they can't seem to connect. The admittedly slow action spins on the excavation of her oppressed memory, but the prose works like a spell. This is a big meditation on the ways we show care for both kin and community. I love a complicated family story.
You do.
I do. So that jumped out to me. Adam Hazlitt was a Pulitzer Prize finalist for a story collection called You Are Not a Stranger Here. I was a bit iffy on that collection, but I've heard really great things about the work he's done in the meantime. So I just find the concept of that book to be really fascinating.
Thanks.
Moving on to the next one. This is a big one for both you and me. It is a sequel to Don't Cry for Me by Daniel Black. And if you followed along, we've made cryptic references to a book that would be coming out the week that we do this video, and that a lot of people didn't know about or had recently found. Like, I've been messaged by 3 people recently just saying, like, did you know that this sequel is coming?
Even some people haven't even heard this book.
Yeah, so don't sleep on this.
Yeah.
This is Don't Cry for Me by Daniel Black.
His first book, which was amazing, about a father who writes letters to his son, kind of not forgiving him or asking for forgiveness, but to understand who he is and why he's the way he is. Yeah. Beautiful book.
If you are a fan of Razorblade Tears, if you're a Razorblade Tears girly, check this out. It's not as violent, but it covers a lot of the same subject matter.
Super sweet. And, but it just explains why he's the way he is.
Yeah.
So Isaac Song
is the story from the son's point of view. So this is the father trying to leave letters for his son, explaining why he was the way he was and why he couldn't accept his gay son. And in Isaac's Song, which, by the way, is releasing on January 14th, so you might be watching this when it has already been published, it takes Isaac's perspective on his life, on what happens when he gets these letters and how he feels about it. I'm so excited. I really cannot wait. So that's going to be a big deal for both of us.
I am starting it on Tuesday when it's released.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited.
Yeah. So I think we're going to jump into the audio because we ultimately both listened to this on audio.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our plan.
And I have actually met and interviewed with Daniel Black. He's a super nice guy.
Yeah.
Just like a big hug. He's so nice. So when I met with him, he kind of gave me the hint. Isaac's song was coming, so
Yeah.
I'm excited.
And I will put a link to that video where you spoke with him on Erica from the Broken Spines channel. She doesn't really post anymore, but I'll find that video if I can.
I have it.
We'll put it down there. All right, next is something that we got at the Pacific Northwest Bookseller Association. So this is unprecedented for me. We have a lot of these books in advanced readers copies. So we grabbed this at the trade show we were at in September and October. This is Tartufo by Kira Jane Buxton. It is going to be published on January 28th. I should also mention publishing dates can change. So you might want to follow the links down below just in case, because even in the time that I've been writing a lot of these down, release dates have changed. But this is coming in January 28th, and it sounds like a charming story about a very small Italian village that's population has been dwindling over time. And the mayor finds a giant truffle, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, and it's about the people in this village and the mayor of the town trying to help the town survive and get tourism, but at what cost maybe. And it's described as funny and kind of heartwarming. I just think it sounds absolutely delightful.
I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. It sounds fun. All right, next we have a book that we don't have here, The Loves of My Life, a sex memoir by Edmund White. Doesn't that just sound fun?
It does, yeah.
So Edmund White is a classic gay author. He wrote A Boy's Own Story, and there were 2 sequels to that book. He is one of the most famous gay authors and long-lasting gay authors out there. And I still haven't read one of his books. I really want to start with A Boy's Own Story. However, this sounds really interesting because, the title really catches your eye right away. But it is described as, written with White's signature honesty, irreverence, and wit, The Loves of My Life is the culmination of a legend's life and work, a delightful and moving tour of over 70 years of being unabashedly gay and in love with love in all its forms. Just sounds great.
It does.
I don't have a lot of nonfiction on my list. I tend to read a lot more fiction than nonfiction. So if you have nonfiction recommendations, I would love to hear about them in the comment section down below, because let's make the comment section a resource for other people. I am going to do a follow-up video where I talk about some books I'm a little less sure of that are coming out, just because I didn't want to make this video super long. But let us know. Let's make the comment section a resource for other people to discover books as well. That sounds fun. Now, another one that we are both super excited about, Blackwood's Blue Sky by Eowyn Ivey. The reason we are so excited for this book is that we both read The Snow Child in November and December, and this was one of our favorite reads from 2024.
Yep.
That video where we discuss our favorite books will be linked down below. So I want to read Eowyn Ivey's second book, To the Bright Edge of the World, before I dive into Blackwood's Blue Sky, but I am such a fan of The Snow Child that I just am so excited. People describe this as a return to Alaska, although To the Bright Edge of the World at least incorporates Alaska from what I've read of it. I think what they mean when they say that is that it's a bit more of a return to form to The Snow Child, because The Snow Child takes inspiration from that classic story of The Snow Child, and Blackwood's Blue Sky is a bit of a riff on Beauty and the Beast.
Oh.
And I think that's more what people mean when they say it's a sort of return to form for that. So I'm really looking forward to it. This one is coming out on February 4th. I have been saying that it comes out on Joel's birthday, and it turns out I'm wrong. I really think it originally was. Yeah,
I think it's supposed to, yeah.
It says on the side February 11th. So that's what I mean when I say release dates can change, because now it says February 4th. And Isaac's Song originally said it was coming out later in January, and they bumped it up. So release dates can change. Who knows? But I'm really looking forward to that book a lot. And I'm going to hand this to you so we can put that one to the side. Next, we have Isola by Allegra Goodman. Another book that we got at the trade show, this one is coming out on February 4th as well. To tell you what this is about, I'm going to borrow it from you for a second because there's a blurb from the inside of the book that I think just sums it up perfectly. Inspired by the real story of Marguerite de la Roque de Roberval, a 16th century noblewoman who was marooned on an island off the coast of Canada, Allegra Goodman's new novel, Isola, is an epic in-scope survival story. Like Maggie O'Farrell's Hamnet, it captures the rich inner life of an unforgettable woman. Like Richard Powers' The Overstory, it is a textured celebration of the natural world. Isola is the best kind of historical fiction. I don't think we really need to say much more about that.
And you loved Hamnet.
I did love Hamnet. Yes, I absolutely did. I was iffy on The Overstory, but I'll take it, and I need to try The Overstory again. So super into that one. Next is a book that I actually just discovered the existence of yesterday. It's Mutual Interest by Olivia Wolfgang Smith. And I discovered it on Instagram because Lindsay Lynch, who's the author of Do Tell, which was one of my honorable mentions for 2024, that video will also be linked down below. She's a great resource for upcoming books, as is Ann Patchett, her boss. Lindsay Lynch works at Parnassus. She's the adult book buyer. So she had posted, it was her dog Barnabas's birthday, and she was reading Mutual Interest and looking out at the snow, and it was just an adorable post. And then it also has a picture of the Flatiron on the cover. Oh, nice. I used to work in the Flatiron building, so that's fun as well. But then the description of the book is a timeless queer love story and a meditation on power, capitalism, and the flow of history. That's a quote from Anna North, who is an author. And then it goes on to say, for readers of Hernan Diaz's Trust, Colm Tóibín's The Magician, with echoes of Gustave Flaubert and E.M. Forster, Mutual Interest is a beguiling story of queer romance, empire, and power. I mean, do I need to say more?
No.
I wasn't too sold on Hernan Diaz's Trust. I still haven't read a Colm Tóibín book, but I love E.M. Forster. I love queer romance and interrogations of capitalism. I'm sold. So that will be coming out on February 4th as well. I don't know if Teddy wants down.
I don't know if he wants on me
or if he wants to go to you, but we're just going to let it stand. So the next one is a cookbook, which is also new for these most anticipated. It is The Hebridean Baker, the Scottish cookbook by Cognac MacLeod. I looked up how to pronounce the author's name. Cognac. So if I'm doing that incorrectly, please correct me. Let me know. I want to get it right. You found him on Instagram.
I found him on Instagram, and he has been doing cookbooks. This will be his fourth book.
Yeah.
And my first. But he does a lot of, he lives up in the Hebridean Islands, and a lot of the recipes and the cultures and everything up in the islands are getting forgotten about. Mm-hmm. So he's writing books on how to make sure they're not forgotten or lost, and he uses a lot of his grandmother's recipes.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a beautiful book.
Joel just tried his shortbread recipe.
They were great. Really good.
Oh my God, it was really good. I just absolutely loved it. And he is a bearded, kilted gay man who just seems so kind on Instagram.
So yeah.
Look him up on Instagram. And the way this book is described, it sounds fascinating. So this is one of the ones that we definitely have pre-ordered. Here's the description. The Hebridean Baker, the Scottish cookbook, is a celebration of tradition, innovation, and the sheer joy of sharing delicious food. Each chapter weaves a broad narrative of tradition, folklore, travel, and the vibrant cultural tapestry of the Hebrides, whilst inviting readers to savor the essence of Scotland, one delectable recipe at a time. With tales of island life, encounters with pioneering women, the musical influence of Gaelic across the Atlantic, and maritime adventures around lesser-known isles, this is not just a cookbook, it's a cultural expedition. And I think he sort of invites other people in, like other people who are from the area,
right,
to share recipes and stories as well.
So he has some, was looking on Instagram, he has some really fun recipes.
Yeah.
There's a salmon chowder I want to try to do. It's super simple.
Yeah, that'd be fun for winter too.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a little interruption there because Teddy decided he wanted down and went about it in the weirdest possible way. Like he tried to jump on you and then it was like a whole bah. So Teddy departed from the video, but he's just walking around. Next, is a book that actually does come out on your birthday, February 11th. 3 Days in June by Ann Tyler. I have read 2 Ann Tyler books at this point. Breathing Lessons, which was her Pulitzer Prize winner. But I read it when I was like 20 or 19 and just discovering the Pulitzer Prize for fiction. And I remember I did not like it. But I was 19 or 20, and it's a book about a long-standing relationship by 2 people who were senior citizens. I don't think at 19 or 20 I was fully equipped to appreciate it, so I need to reread it for my Pulitzer Prize project. I did read Dinner at the Homesick Restaurant, and you read that as well.
I read it too, and I really liked it.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful book. So I want to read more Ann Tyler, and this is the one that is coming out. It is described as join Gail Baines as she navigates the chaotic days before and after her daughter's wedding. From losing her job or quitting, depending on whom you ask, to an unexpected visitor and his cat, and a shocking secret revealed, Gail's world is turned upside down over the course of 3 days. Told with deep sensitivity and a tart sense of humor, 3 Days in June is a triumphant novel about the complexities of relationships and the power of forgiveness. So it sounds like classic Ann Tyler from everything that I've heard.
Yeah.
And I'm sold. I'm going to hand that to you to go over. Next is...
It's one that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
It's The Vanishing Kind by Alice Henderson.
Coming out on March 4th.
March 4th. It'll be the 4th in the series, and it follows Alice Carter, who is a naturalist, and she follows along with studying animals. Mm-hmm. So some of her earlier ones that she had done was The Solitude of Wolverines, and The Ghost of Caribou, and A Blizzard of Polar Bears.
Yeah.
So she has all these fun little puns on the words, but then she goes into the 4th book, The Vanishing Kind, which doesn't play on it. So in the 4th book, The Vanishing Kind, she's going to be following jaguars. It sounds super interesting. The book doesn't focus on the animals, but a murder or something that happens in the background. But at the end, there is a little a naturalist tidbits on the animals themselves. So they're actually very interesting and fun.
Yeah. So the quick description that I pulled is from highly acclaimed author Alice Henderson comes the eagerly anticipated and electrifying 4th book in the Alex Carter series, in which the wildlife biologist encounters anti-immigrant vigilantes, rugged terrain, and threatening intruders in search of a sleek, powerful, and furtive animal, the jaguar. So right away you can see, like, yeah, it's not your classic murder mystery, and it does involve an animal. Where will she go next?
I don't know.
When will she get to an elephant?
I wish.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
But she stays. The last one was up in Montana. Before that, she's in the Vermont, New England area. Yeah. And this one's going to be, I believe, down in New Mexico area.
Okay, cool.
So she's all over.
All over. But
it's a great character that I enjoy following. So,
and I need to try, but I want to try Claire Kells first. But
Claire Kells is awesome.
Yeah. Next is a book that we don't have a copy of. They actually had a limited amount of copies at the trade show, and one of the reps that we talked to said if he had any left at the end, he would hook us up, but he didn't have any left at the end. It's Kate and Frida by Kim Fay, coming out on March 11th. The reason we are both so excited for this one is that Kim Fay is the author of Love and Saffron. Great book. Love and Saffron is an epistolary novel, mostly, and it exchanges letters back and forth between 2 women, and their love of food drives this incredible friendship that changes both of their lives. It's a really beautiful book, and it's very short, so we both listened to it on the way home from Italy, I think. Yeah. Did you know we went to Italy?
We did.
Here's the description for this one. From the author of instant national bestseller Love and Saffron, this bright and comforting novel follows the surprising friendship between 2 young women in 1990s Seattle and Paris. Illuminating the power of books to change our lives, this mouth-watering oasis of a novel is a love letter to bookshops and booksellers. I'm sold. To the passion we bring to life in our 20s and the last precious years before the internet changed everything. It sounds sweet.
Sounds really great.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's going to be very similar to 84 Charing Crossroads. So, letters back and forth on books and bookshops and the friendships that they build. So,
and even kind of tying back to Love and Saffron as well, because letters going back and forth, we're just swapping food for books.
Yeah.
And Love and Saffron itself is kind of similar to 84 Charing Cross Road.
Yep.
I think someone recommended 84 Charing Cross Road to us because we read Love and Saffron.
Or was it the other way around?
I don't remember. But
One or the other, but we liked those kind of books, and they suggested it.
yeah,
So,
so
fun books.
March 11th.
Yeah.
And then an author who spoke at the PNBA trade show, Karen Russell. Her new book, which is coming out March 11th, is called The Antidote. You might know Karen Russell because she was a Pulitzer Prize finalist for her novel Swamplandia, the one they shout out on the cover here. And that was a fascinating year for the Pulitzer because that is the year there were 3 finalists and no winner selected. I have a whole video about it. It will be linked down below. And I think Swamplandia was a book that reached just a little too far, but was really just a fascinating book. And she released a story collection called Vampires in the Lemon Grove. There is one story in that collection that has stayed with me ever since I read it. And this one is about the Dust Bowl, which is a topic that fascinates both of us. It does sound slightly weird. Like it also involves, one thing she talked about a lot was learning about this hearing device, like one of those kind of horns that you'd put up to your ear to try to listen. So it is about the Dust Bowl, but it sounds like it's got a little bit of kind of out there things. It is described as a gripping Dust Bowl epic that intertwines the fates of 5 characters in a storm-ravaged Nebraskan town, revealing hidden histories and urgent warnings. And in the book, this is an advanced reader's copy, of course, but there are like little photos and ads and diagrams. So it promises to be a fascinating book. I am really interested in anything to do with the Dust Bowl.
Yep.
So looking forward to that.
I am too.
Yeah. All right. That takes us to another big one for both of us. Why is it a big one for both of us?
Because these 3 books were in our top 10, or top 5. Almost.
Somewhere in there.
Some in
yeah.
our top 10 that we absolutely love the
Yeah.
universe of Abby Jimenez's Part of Your World.
Yeah. So it started with Part of Your World, then Yours Truly, and then Just for the Summer. We read Just for the Summer first and then went back and looped around. Delightful books. I am such a fanboy of Abby Jimenez now. So the one that she has coming out this year is in this universe. It's Say You'll Remember Me, and it's coming out April 1st, April Fool's Day. She'll break your heart and build you back up for April Fool's Day. And I don't even really care what it's about. You do get introduced to the female protagonist in Just for the Summer. All of these books are sort of linked together. So I assume other characters will show up in there as well as they go along. But yeah, you definitely met her in Just for the Summer. If you remember, there's a scene where the protagonists of Just for the Summer are on a date and they run into a woman who is lost and seems to be suffering from dementia. They manage to find her daughter's phone number and they call the daughter to come pick up the mother. The daughter is the female protagonist of this book.
Interesting.
So there you go. Really looking forward to that. Next, do you want to do it?
Yeah.
Hold it up. It's Run Away With Me by Brian Selznick, which is going to be coming out April Fool's Day as well. April Fools run away to Rome with some teenage boys falling in love in a wondrous historical city. Now, you've never read a Brian Selznick book,
I have
right?
not.
I have. And The Invention of Hugo Cabret is a masterpiece. I can't remember if there are actually no words or no dialogue in the book, or if there's just virtually none. But his illustrations are incredible. If you haven't read The Invention of Hugo Cabret, do it. I was a little less excited about Thunderstruck, which was his next book, but I am totally sold on the concept of this. He spoke at the conference as well, and he said he originally wanted this to be just a book with text. He did not want to do illustrations, and his editor basically laughed and was like, haha, you got to do illustrations. And at first he was kind of bitter about it, but then as he started figuring out ways to incorporate drawings, he really got into it. Gorgeous. So the opening of the book, I don't know how many pages, is all illustrations. And then you get into text, and then the ending of the book is also illustrations.
Yeah, just wonderful drawings.
His illustrations are just staggering. So I am a big fan. There's a lot of nipple in this book.
Oh, it's like a Sistine Chapel.
Yeah.
So just gorgeous.
Yeah. And really looking forward to that. It's a short book. It's only small. Let's do a quick description. Danny is 16 and spending his summer in Rome. As his mother works all day in a museum dedicated to the preservation of books, he wanders the city's ancient, lonely streets, not really sure what he's looking for, until a voice calls to him, and a strange, beautiful boy steps into his life, Angelo. So it's queer, it's in Rome, it's got beautiful illustrations. I'm sold.
I am too.
I'm sold. So that comes out April Fool's Day again. This is one that I'm really excited about. It's Big Chief by John Hickey. I actually learned about this book from Morgan Talty. He posted about it on Instagram, and I looked up a description of the book, and I was really sold. So this will be coming out on April 8th, and here we go. Thrilling and timely, Big Chief is an unforgettable story about the search for belonging to an ancestral and spiritual home, to a family, and to a sovereign people at a moment of great historical importance. So it's an indigenous book. It covers a lot of things I'm really interested in. That's a very brief summary of this book. Again, I just don't want this video to be super long. So if you want more information about this, look down below. The link on bookshop.org will really hook you up. But I am so excited to read this book. I think it's going to be really fascinating. We're almost done, but next is The Imagined Life of Andrew Porter. I actually learned about this from Matthew Sharapa. He posted about it on Instagram. He works at Knopf, and this will be coming out on April 15th. And I really want to go back and read other books of Andrew Porter's because he was an author I had not heard of. This sounds fascinating. Rich in atmosphere and with a stunningly sure-footed emotional compass, The Imagined Life is a probing, nostalgic novel about the impossibility of understanding one's parents, about first loves and failures, about lost innocence, about the unbreakable bonds between a father and a son.
Oh.
Does that not sound like me?
Yes.
Like a book that I would immediately say, I want to read that. So, sure enough, here it is on this list, and I can't wait.
Nice.
It also has a gorgeous cover. All of his books seem to have gorgeous covers. The next one just sounds weird and fun. It's Murder by Cheesecake, a Golden Girls cozy mystery by Rachel Ekstrom Courage. It'll be coming out on April 15th, and it's billed as the first in a series of cozy mysteries featuring the Golden Girls. That could go wildly off the rails and be terrible, but it could be super fun. The quick description that I'm going to use is, when Dorothy's obnoxious date is found dead in a hotel freezer, it not only ruins a gorgeous cheesecake, but threatens the elaborate St. Olaf-themed wedding Rose is hosting. So there's a lot of potential for this to be wild, campy fun, and we are fans of the Golden Girls.
We are.
So it really should be amusing. All right, we have 2 more books. Next is Fireweed. I did talk about some of the books that we brought back from PNBA with us. And the one that we brought back from PNBA that generated the most interest from people was Fireweed. And this is by Lauren Haddad. It will be coming out on April 29th. And it just sounds absolutely fascinating. So now that we're in the year when this book is going to be released, I'm hoping to read this sometime soon. But you can see, I've got a lot of books on my plate. My plate is full.
It is.
But let's do a quick, I'm just going to read the end of the description. With great awareness and care, Lauren Haddad brilliantly exposes both our impulse to mythologize marginalized communities and the damage we do when privileging our own value system over others. Gripping, subversive, and prophetic, Fireweed begs the question, what do we do with a person who isn't bad, but who does no good? I mean, just that, right? Doesn't it just make you go, You turn to the thoughtful face emoji? Yeah, just like that. So I am really excited about this one. Coming out April 29th. Hopefully I will be able to read it soon. Last book. This takes us all the way to June 10th. So we go from being close to your birthday to almost reaching my birthday. So June 10th, we get a book called King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby.
Yes.
Now, you're an S.A. Cosby super fan.
Yeah.
You've read all of his books.
I read them.
Is all I
All
mean.
of them, yeah.
And
I love them.
I've read Razorblade Tears, which was phenomenal. It was I think it was in my honorable mentions, but that really just goes to show how competitive the best was this year, because this is an incredible book. And you've also read Blacktop Wasteland and loved that.
All the Sinners Bleed.
That one's your
my
favorite?
honorable mention this year.
Yeah. Is All the Sinners Bleed your favorite, or is this one your favorite?
This one.
Okay. I don't know why I got confused about that, but hey. So I'm not even going to bother with a long description of King of Ashes. I just pulled the quick little heading of what it's about. A Godfather-inspired Southern crime epic and dazzling family drama.
Well, that sounds like you too.
I know. Yeah. I love a complicated family story. So I think we can, if you know S.A. Cosby, you know what to expect. If you don't, he typically writes stories that grapple with race in very intelligent ways. He writes stories that are very violent, but also interrogate the cost of violence in a lot of ways. And he's just a fascinating guy. If you follow him on social media, he's a big teddy bear of a guy, despite writing very violent books. And yeah, so I've read this one in 2024, and I need to go back and read more of his books. But this one is coming on June 10th.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's our list. That's what we have. And I will be doing a video separately where I cover some books that I was a little less sure of. The upcoming Han Kang book will be on there, and I'll explain why it's on that video when I do it. Again, I only had one nonfiction book on the list. Well, no, there were two, because we also had a cookbook.
Yeah.
So thanks to you, there were two nonfiction books on the list. So let us know what you're looking forward to in the comment section down below. And particularly if you have nonfiction books that you are looking forward to, because that's an area that I am weak, and it's an area that I am kind of hoping to do better on in 2025. So
Awesome.
thank you for being back.
Well, thank you for having me.
Of course, anytime. I bet you Teddy was just really tired, because we took him for a big walk, which is why I'm wearing my hat, which came from Ireland.
Yeah.
This is an Aaron Sweater Market hat. So I just kept it on. But anyway, so that covers our most anticipated books of 2025. I do videos covering upcoming books throughout the year, so you can expect more in spring. But that's it for now. As always, we really appreciate your time, and we will be back. Until next time, happy reading.
Happy baking.
Happy baking with the Hebridean Baker.
With the Hebridean Baker.
And you too.
And some shortbreads.
And some shortbreads.
Which
yes.
may be a hint to something coming soon.
Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. Mm-hmm. Anyway, happy reading.